So guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Transfer Roundup Friday, the series where every Friday I sit down with you guys and we go over the hottest topics, the transfers going on and all the news surrounding Manchester United all the way throughout the summer. The first two Transfer Roundup videos have gone live on the channel already. If I remember to, I'll link them down below. I highly recommend that you go and watch those two before you watch this one, just so you guys can keep up to date on the players I'll be talking about and the news that has already happened within those transfers. But if not, guys, I hope you enjoy this one and I hope you can stay tuned. So make sure to give it a like, make sure to subscribe to the channel and also share the video as well. That would be very appreciated. We do have a lot of stories to talk about and I will leave all the articles on screen that I'm reading so you guys can also read them as well. But let's start off by talking about some players which could be leaving Manchester United this summer. As we know, under Ineos, a massive rebuild is going to happen at Manchester United and a lot of players will be leaving. So hopefully we can raise a lot of money to bring players in, as our budget apparently is not very high at this moment. And once the Euros is over, I do think things will accelerate. But these players are the preferred candidates to leave Manchester United this summer. And they're not unexpected. And this was from the men. Victor Lindelof, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Christian Eriksen and Hannibal Mejbri are all available for a transfer from Manchester United this summer. It doesn't surprise me that these players are talked about leaving Manchester United this summer, and we have heard Victor Lindelof and Aaron Wan-Bissaka have both been linked to a move to Everton, but also Lindelof has been linked to a move to Turkey for Fenerbahce, where Jose Mourinho is now. And a key factor there is Jose Mourinho is now the manager, so obviously, he had a really good time when he was here with Victor Lindelof, so I could see that move really accelerate once the Euros is over. And it's definitely a move I can see happening with Lindelof. And also Wan-Bissaka has been linked with Galatasaray as well. And that wouldn't surprise me. It just seems like a deal that could happen. And with Diego Dalot now playing a really key role in this team, Wan-Bissaka's not going to get ahead of him. So he's definitely looking for a move away. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does. Christian Eriksen, also a player I mentioned. He just can't play for Manchester United anymore. I've not seen him linked with any teams yet. But once the Euros is done, of course, he's playing for Denmark right now. They've made it through. I do expect things to accelerate. As we know, Christian Eriksen basically talked to Ten Hag about his role. And if he's not going to be playing a key one, he doesn't want to be here. So as we know, he's not going to be playing much next season. So he's definitely going to be leaving this summer, I feel. And also Mejbri, a player which went on loan to Sevilla, didn't really work out, fell out with the manager there. Is also a player which is not going to have a big role in this Manchester United team going forward. So I do expect him to make a move this summer, whether it's a loan one again or a permanent one. We'll have to wait and see. But that's all the news. Also, TalkSport were the ones that mentioned about Everton being interested in Lindelof and Aaron Wan-Bissaka as well. So maybe one of them goes to Everton, one of them moves to Turkey. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But, there's a lot of options open for a lot of them, but we do need to raise funds, and these are players we can definitely let go. We've got a bit of news on Ruud van Nistelrooy. And this was a surprise one, to be fair. I heard about it this week. I'm sure you guys heard about it as well. And this was from Chris Wheeler. Ruud van Nistelrooy would be handed a senior role on Erik Ten Hag's coaching staff if he decides to return to Manchester United. And also going along with that, this was from Ducker from the Telegraph. Manchester United are making good progress with Erik Ten Hag over a contract extension. Both parties hope to finalise a new contract soon. Of course, we've heard about a new contract being talked upon. He's going to be the manager of Manchester United going forward. But there's not been an official contract signed yet. But it's very, very close, apparently, from what I'm hearing. Both parties happy to finalise a new contract soon. And the possibility of Ruud van Nistelrooy returning to Old Trafford in the back of those discussions. And I do think it could be really good having a shake-up like this, especially in the management area as well. Because Erik Ten Hag has worked with his staff for a very, very long time now. And Ineos just like, do you know what? We can shake up the players, we can shake up the team, but we're also going to shake up the management role. And getting former players back in alongside Erik Ten Hag could definitely work in our favour and could help out and develop the likes of Højlund as well. Just imagine how good the legendary Ruud van Nistelrooy could be for developing a guy like Højlund. It could be magical. It really, really could be. So I'd definitely be in favour of that. We're hearing he turned down the Burnley job for a role alongside Erik Ten Hag if it does happen. So you know, that's big. That's pretty big, turning down a manager at Burnley. Again, did really well at PSV, Ruud van Nistelrooy. And you would think that the next move would be moving to a Burnley, a bigger challenge like that, more competitive. But no, apparently he's turned that down and is looking for a move alongside Erik ten Hag's coaching staff. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But that one took me by a lot of surprise. But I think it definitely could be good to shake up things like this. Not just the players that are coming in, not just the management role, but, you know, things above as well, I do think could change and everything, you know, facilities, it all needs to go. A massive rebuild needs to happen. So I think that could be really, really good. There was some interest in Jeremy Frimpong. Fabrizio Romano was talking about it to the United stand the other day. But with how good Diego Dallo is, I don't really want to spend too much time on this one, just because I don't think it will happen because of how good Dallo's been. Frimpong, again, a very, very highly appreciated player and deserves a bigger move than to just be sitting on the bench at Manchester United, really. So I'm not going to talk about this. It's just rumours, I feel. I don't think this one's going to advance to a further stage. But yeah, there's apparently some interest there and his release clause being made. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens about that one. But I don't think it will go any further than that. A bit more news on Casemiro. Basically, we heard it last week. He wants to fulfill his contract at Manchester United. But a move to Saudi is not off the cards. If everything's right, the Saudi side are determining their budget for such deals. Casemiro will only accept the move once he believes the conditions are right. So it's basically, he wants to make sure if he does go to Saudi, everything's in favour for him and he wants the right conditions with it. That's all it is at the moment. And again, I think he might end up staying, which again, I wouldn't be in favour with because he's been really, really poor for us. And I don't see him playing a key role again next season. But we'll have to wait and see what happens on that one. But yeah, Casemiro at the moment, Saudi is an option, but again, he wants to fulfill his contract. We move on to some other news regarding Bremer from Juventus. If Manchester United decide not to pursue Jared Branthwaite, and by the way, guys, with the Branthwaite deal, I talked about it briefly last week about the deal being, you know, Everton wanting way too much money. And what Ineos are saying is they continue to negotiate at the moment. But again, they will not go any further with it if they can't agree on a decent deal for the player. Because we don't want to pay 60 to 70 million for him. And Ineos are basically saying 40 to 50 million, we'll take it. But any more, I know the thing with Everton, they're going to stick with that because they know Manchester United will pay this money. But under this regime, under Ineos, they're not going to do that anymore. They're going to change things up and they're not going to overpay for players. So there's not too much going on at an advanced stage right now with Jared Branthwaite. And all we have on the Branthwaite situation is that Manchester United will keep going with it. Branthwaite's keen on the move. They want it to happen. But again, at this moment, the deal's not there because Everton still want 60 to 70 million for the player. So that's all it is at the moment. But yeah, Bremer, his release clause, valid next summer, is between 55 million and 6 million euros. However, there is a private agreement between Bremer's agents and Juventus to consider offers of similar value this summer. Currently, there is nothing concrete from Manchester United regarding Bremer, but he's highly appreciated, and that was from Fabrizio Romano as well. And on the centre-back department, there was some news earlier this morning regarding a player that Erik ten Hag has worked with previously, Matthijs de Ligt. He's always been on Manchester United cards. Every window we hear about Matthijs de Ligt. But the news coming out from Plettigol, which I think is a journalist in is it Italy or Germany, Matthijs de Ligt remains a transfer target for Manchester United this summer. He is one of the many names being discussed eternally alongside Jared Branthwaite and Lenny Yoro. Of course, Yoro from Lille. It's a player which we're not going to touch too much over because there's nothing too advanced about the situation, and teams like Real Madrid and Liverpool seemed more favourable to make the move for Yoro, and of course he is going to cost a lot of money as well. And are we in need of him? I'm not too sure we are at this moment, so I don't want to talk about him too much. But also Yoro is appreciated by Manchester United, and it's also a transfer is there for him. So yeah, that's about it on De Ligt. We have a bit more news on De Ligt actually. As of now, there's been no offer, but the price valuation from United for De Ligt is around 50 million. So again, 50 million for De Ligt, I don't think it's worth it. I would really want a Braithwaite or someone like that over a Ligt, because I don't think he's all that, to be honest. He's a player which has been mediocre at Bayern Munich, doesn't really start too often for them. He's been really poor. Even Dyer's ahead of him at the moment, so it just says a lot, doesn't it? So I wouldn't really favour a move for him, but he's a player which is highly appreciated and also has worked with Ten Hag as well. But as we know, Ten Hag is no longer in control of transfers, but I'm sure he will have an influence on what type of players he does want or like. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on that one. A major news coming out actually about Ugarte from PSG. Obviously moved out from Sporting, a very, very talented player, a lot of potential, still 23. And there was some breaking news coming out yesterday. Manchester United have made an opening bid for PSG for Ugarte. It has been rejected, but negotiations are still open, and that was from Tan Zilowick. And I think I saw something afterwards, another article saying that a opening offer wasn't made. It was just rumours, but apparently that was false. So I'm not too sure the situation going on. Has a offer been made? Has it not? There's different articles coming out saying that. But yeah, that was from Tan Zilowick about Ugarte. But Manchester United apparently are seriously interested in a defensive midfielder, with Casemiro potentially making a move, Amrabat potentially going back to Fiorentina. We are definitely in need of a defensive midfielder. And yes, it's not worked out for him at PSG. It's not worked out at all. He's been really, really poor there. Yes, he's not been given a lot of chances. Him and Fabien Ruiz have been switching out, playing for PSG. But again, it's not worked out over there for him. I don't think it's serious. Then we have to look into that as a player I don't want to move for. So I do think he still has a lot of talent. He still has a lot of potential, as I mentioned, still 23 years old. And him and Kobbie Mainoo in the midfield, I think both of them could work wonders, because it would allow Kobbie Mainoo to be more forward. And we know Kobbie Mainoo, he can score goals, he can create chances. And again, he's a player which can, do really well in that DM role, but can also play a huge role going forward as well. And if Ugarte comes in, he can cover up that, sit in front of a defence. And again, he's a player which I really do think could make an impact in this Manchester United team. So he's a player which Manchester United are really interested in, and a move could go forward and accelerate after the Euros, as he's still Copa America, and the Euros, because he's still playing for Uruguay. I keep on forgetting Copa America is on, to be honest with you guys. So, yeah, move for Ugarte is definitely not off the cards, is what I'm saying. It's one I'm really interested in. I definitely want him at Manchester United as well, as he was really impressed me at Sporting, but it's just not worked out for him yet at PSG. Some other news to finish on, guys. The Jarrad Braithwaite news we've gone over already. We know where we are with him. Ivan Toney, another player Manchester United are interested in. Ivan Toney has been a topic of discussion for Manchester United for months, as they consider both young and experienced striker options. Toney is highly appreciated by the club, but currently there is nothing concrete or advanced regarding the transfer. No imminent deal expected. It was from Fabrizio Romano. A bit more goes on, even during the Euros. So yeah, Toney, a player which Manchester United are definitely interested in. We've seen him being interested in Arsenal and different teams like that around the Premier League. And he's a player which I do think will make a move this summer. I don't see him staying at Brentford any longer. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. Again, I don't think this is one or rumour that will accelerate. I don't think Manchester United are concrete, or the interest is concrete in this player. I just think it is rumours. But Manchester United are after a striker, as we know, whether that will be an inexperienced striker to rival Højlund, and of course give Højlund a rest, which he definitely does need next season. He cannot be playing as many games as he has done. It's just not good for his development. Or whether Manchester United go for an experienced striker, someone like a Toney. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. But I'm excited for this window because there's so much going on. But I think, guys, that's all the news we have for you on this transfer roundup Friday. There was a bit more news, but it's not really important to read to you guys at the moment. But yeah, also interest in Max Kilman, but I don't think that will go any further. And also Joshua Zirkzee, as we know, we heard about it last week. Manchester United have spoke to Zirkzee's representatives. A move to AC Milan is not off the cards for him. That's really important as well, because as we know, most strikers or most players in the Serie A who are playing for a lower team like Bologna or Sassuolo, someone like that, they always tend to make the step up to a bigger Serie A team before they do come to the Premier League. But as we know, Manchester United have been closing in on a deal for Zirkzee, who is previously working on a deal for him and are looking for other options. AC Milan as well, also included in that. And the other news about Zirkzee is that apparently Manchester United dare to, or they want to meet the 33.8 million release clause in Joshua Zirkzee's contract. But again, nothing's further than that at the moment. Ineos and Zirkzee's representatives are still talking, but it's up to them, Ineos, to decide if they want to speak to, or no, is it up to the player and his representatives to talk to Manchester United to see if they want to make a move for him. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, guys. But that's all the news we have for you today. If you did enjoy, please make sure to give it a like. As I mentioned, please subscribe, and also please share the video if you are new, because that would be very, very appreciated. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next Friday.